So he plays the little game with them, and he's like, well, if one of you kills the other, one of you can walk out that door and maybe have a chance to stop me in the 7 to 10 days that it'll take to tear apart the universe. And by the way, on a side note, where the hell is Chuck in all of this? You can't tell me he's not watching this shit go down right now, sipping margaritas on the beach with Amara somewhere, and just saying, oh, hey, they can handle this. Like, excuse me, sir. What is wrong with you? Why are you like this? Humans, you're right, humans are your best creation because they're better than you. I could rant about this all day, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. Anyway, so they just kind of both look at the Archangel braid for a minute, and they look at each other, and you can tell, and Sam's like, no, and you can see Jack isn't going to do it either. But Sam picks up the blade, and my first thing is thinking he's going to twist it, kind of like the one girl did in the first episode of season 13, where she uses the open hand palm and then twists it and like jams it into Jack's chest. I thought he was going to do that for Lucifer, but he didn't. And instead he reaches out and he's like, kill me. And I'm like, Sam, what the hell? What is it with, I mean, they both do this, but what is it with Sam in particular where he's immediately ready to just die? He's just ready to just throw himself away and be suicidal and say, hey, take me, and have a slim chance at saving humanity, and when the world has already kicked him too many times. And I just have all the feels about Sam in particular, but way off topic. And so of course, this is, I feel like, the final hurdle to Jack becoming a Winchester, because he takes it and he looks up and I, honest to God, thought he was going to try just because Sam told him to, but he says, I can't do it, but you can. And he's like, you can save the world. And Sam's like, no, I can't. And I'm like, poor Sam, baby, you've done it several times already. You can do this. But on the main note, Jack says, you can do this. I can't, I'll kill myself to keep you alive because you're family and you have stated me as your family. And I'm not going to do this. I can't hurt any more people, whether intentionally or not. I can't hurt any other people that I promised to keep safe or love. And so he says, I love you, and just, it was all the feels. It was all the feels. And I feel like that I love you was the final step in him becoming a Winchester, because not only has he made mistakes and killed innocent people, but he has also not only gained the title of family from not one, but two of the original Winchesters, and, the sacrificial thing, the willing to sacrifice himself, but also basically locking himself into the Winchester family right before he's about to kill himself. He says, I love you. And Sam's like, no, what the fuck? But then he doesn't get to do that because, surprise, we have Dean with wings, and it is the most badass thing I have seen in the past few episodes. One of the most badass scenes I've seen in this entire season, because, this is the first time he's being possessed by anything, really. And the fact that it's an angel, and that it's Michael, and that he finally fulfilled this prophecy, this thing about the apocalypse he had going. It definitely is very poetic in a sense, and it does make me feel like the series is coming to a close, and please, God, don't. I couldn't deal with that right now, even though it hurts me so. But you have that, and you have the wings, and they're Just amazing thing. And you have the background music and the amazing lighting and everything. Okay, it's clearly hyped up as a big deal because it is. It is literally the first time he's willingly said yes. His aspiration has finally kicked over his stubborn side, and he has said yes, and finally become a vessel. And it's badass, really. I mean, as horrible as the situation was, and as much as this episode tore me up, that I had to admit was cool. That's one of the other things I have to give kudos to the writers and the producers and all that, because amazing presentation and introduction and whatnot. But the one thing that, I mean, it was badass, and it definitely made sense with the responses they were all giving out about it being physically taxing. But the one thing that confused me was when they're now levitating in the air like Michael was in the bunker, and they're fighting, and it's clear, you can tell that they're using their wings, you know, they're flying, and it's a full-on angelic battle. But I think my question here is, why the hell wasn't that happening right before the portal closed, you know? Why were they throwing grace balls then? Like, why didn't we do that now? Was it just to make it more badass, or because, you know, like, because Dean was true vessel and whatnot? Or, like, I'm just confused by the lack of continuity. Of course, that could just be me and you know, Buck Lemming being jerks. So, I don't know. Just food for thought, you know, between all this other crazy shit. You know, the typical, you know, Dean throwing a weapon for, kind of like they did for Gabriel and Unfinished Business. They toss it and he, you know, and it's just, I honestly panicked at first because I thought Lucifer was going to kill Michael and Dean while Dean stabbed and killed Lucifer. But Dean and Michael survived, which is actually worse now, seeing the ending in the giant cliffhanger. But so he stabs Lucifer, and Lucifer is finally dead after all these seasons, after all this banter, after all this characterization. He's finally officially off the show, and I'm feeling they're not bringing him back. At least not, you know, they might have nightmares or something like that, but they're not, you can tell they're not going to officially bring him back. They can't. And as much as I love Mark Pellegrino, and I've definitely grown more attached to the Lucifer meta the past season, I definitely think that it's for the best. Because, like I said before, the characterization all over the place and the unpredictability and the throwing of the tantrum, and really I don't even know where to go from here. I'm losing my train of thought again. This is what happens when your brain is this scrambled. But I think it's best because Lucifer was a bad guy. He was almost always depicted as the bad guy in canon. It's just the subtext, the infamous subtext, that really got to people, that made him grow such a wide fan base. Well, that and the comedy, and basically Mark being an awesome actor. I applaud you, my friend. I do. And thank you for staying on the show this many years. And I really hope you're going to, you know, keep doing conventions and all this crap, okay? Like, you're part of the fandom, like, now and forever, dude. Seriously. But I think it was about time that Lucifer left, because he's really not... He switched between being extremely dangerous to almost powerless to extremely dangerous to, I mean, like, all over the place. And they're literally just ran out of ideas for him. Like, I don't know. So they killed him off, and I mean, it's sad in a sense, Mark not being on the show anymore and not having any more of Lucifer's sass, but also he was a bad guy, and at least this way they can't fuck up his characterization any more than they already have, because that pissed me off big time this season, was just all of that. But basically, what I'm trying to get at is there was no obvious trace of Lucifer redemption for himself. You know, he was the bad guy in the end, and, you know, Michael is the bad guy now, but I definitely think the writers put their foot down and decided, yes, this is the devil. This is his true nature. This is who he has been for eons, since the stars were created. And we're going to keep this. And I applaud them for that, too, because, you know, keeping things real is how you keep the show going. But it's to all you Lucifer lovers out there, I'm sorry for y'all, because I just literally have just started digging at the Lucifer sympathy groups and whatnot. And I mean, I don't know if y'all are devastated or not, but I know I would be if that happened to me. So I'm sorry. But on another note, on a better note, I think he did get some sense of redemption, not for all he's done to the Winchesters, but for his first mistake, for his pride, for thinking he was perfect, for letting the mark corrupt him because of his jealousy. I think he made up for it by having Jack. And obviously, you know, Jack was planned by Lucifer for power originally, you know, and maybe it always was that way. I don't know. But Jack, I think, is as bad of a place as he's in right now, especially with Michael on the loose. I definitely think he's going to get a chance to kill Michael himself. And he's going to get a chance to feel better about all the stuff he's done. And he's going to be able to grow and get more life experience through all the crap that's about to happen next season. And I think him growing and learning from these things and being good and protecting humanity and loving humanity, you know, like Chuck intended, is going to redeem what little can be redeemed of Lucifer. That's really the only redemption I can think of, but it makes sense, I guess, in a way. But